Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome to Aroid District. In today's video, we're going to be visiting a shop called Rainforest Flora to get some inspiration for a project that we will be doing later on in this video. Now, Rainforest Flora specializes in tropical plants that do not require soil in order to thrive. So we're talking about bromeliads, air plants, philodendron, jungle cactus, and staghorn ferns. All they need is water, sunlight, and a solid surface to attach to. So let me show you around. Rainforest Flora. I've been coming to this shop for years, back when I was building my vivariums, my terrariums, and even aquariums. When it comes to bromeliads, they have just about every color and all the varieties that you may be looking for. Same goes for the air plants that they have. I'm not really into air plants, but they will surprise you with the bloom that they put out. So I was amazed by this jungle cactus that they got growing across the cliff. That's pretty cool. So when it comes down to the Nepenthe species and different carnivorous plants, I don't know much about them. I'm not really into them, but this one looks cool sitting here. So this philodendron red emerald, it has a nice dark newer leaf that just looks really good in contrast to this rock. And speaking of the rock, the sand colored has like these air plants growing all over it. I'm not sure if they grow like that in the wild. They also have this Rhaphidophora tetrasperma growing across. I don't really know where it starts or ends at, but it's pretty cool. And as far as the water feature is crazy. It definitely gives me a lot of ideas because they have all kind of philodendron and all kind of plants growing off the cliff in the same vision as the water feature. So that's pretty cool. Philodendron Xanadu. It grows like a nice looking trunk, which is pretty good because everything can't be on a moss pole in our house, And this Philodendron giganteum going crazy in this shop. Look at all those aerial roots. I think what happens is all of the leaf litter and detritus collects inside of those aerial roots and provides nutrients for this very huge philodendron right here. So let's give it up to the philodendron red emerald, because if it wasn't for this species right here, it would not be pink princess, white knight, strawberry shake. All of those plants come from this philodendron right here. So look at this cactus. I have a similar cactus. I just like the way that they had it trailing down off of this rock. That's pretty cool. My favorite plant in this shop is the philodendron Jose Buono that they have. I like the way they just put it there and they let it rock. They just let the plant climb up the cliff, and the leaves are huge. And I think it made it all the way up that cliff that they have. But hopefully you all can see the scale and the size of this plant right here. So I looks to my left and I see these maidenhair ferns. So let me tell you how smaller leaf ferns can really make bigger plants look better. If I put this fern next to this big Jose Buono, it makes the Jose Buono stand out more. So that's a little tip. When it comes to smaller leaf ferns, they definitely make just about any plant look better, especially those bigger anthurium. And here's another example here they have this maidenhair fern growing wild in this cactus. This cactus may just look a little bit scraggly if it wasn't for the maidenhair fern kind of growing through it, if you understand what I'm saying. And the same goes for the bigger leaf ferns. It's just that it will give you those Jurassic Park vibes because, you know, bigger ferns look kind of prehistoric. So this here is like a golden pothos waterfall. Looks pretty cool. If I ever get like a big house, I'll do something like this. This definitely has like a cool little vibe to it. So I'm checking out this bromeliad and this Monstera albo growing off of this cliff. Now I'm not the biggest fan of the Monstera albo, and I just really feel like it looks good as a home design, but when it comes to a natural setting, it does not look as natural. It doesn't look as good. I mean, you look at the regular Monstera above it, it looks more at home. So they got this Philodendron plowmonii growing in between, you know, the little waterfall. And I think that's pretty cool. But yo, I bet you if that Monstera had yellow variegation, it'll probably pop off in this location, this natural look right here. But let's check out some wood pieces for the project. They have these chala wood pieces, and I think they're going for $110. So that's cool. Then I see like these cactus trunk pieces for $125. And this next one, I like how they built a wooden base for this tree branch right here. So you can kind of just hook on a bunch of different plants. That is pretty cool. And this one right here is my favorite. I like the design of this wood piece. And this one is going for $200. So that's cool. I love that for this shop. But hell to the no. I'm not buying no sticks for hundreds of dollars. Like what you thought this was. Y'all already know I'm cheap. I'm not buying no sticks for that price when I could just go take a long walk around the park. You know, like how Jill Scott said, when I go walk my dog at the park, we can go pick up some tree branches and complete this project. So the project that we are about to do is 100% free. I'm not spending no money. I'm using everything that I have already in the house, in the garage. So let's get started. Me and Soul, we found a tree branch that fits the description. This one looks pretty nice, and I wanted something that'll be, you know, shoulder length height. So that's about 5 feet right there, if I'm not mistaken. I already got some concrete. That's the brand that I got from Home Depot a while ago. This one is pretty chunky. It has a lot of rocks in it, but it will do for this project. So I took that concrete, half of it and half perlite, and I mixed that with water. The amount of water that you put in there does not really matter as long as it's able to be poured. That concrete needs to be moved, like it needs to be able to move around so you can pour it into a plastic container. Now this plastic container has a hole, and I want to fill it up, you know, about to that hole. That's about 6 inches tall. And like I said before, if you put too much water, it doesn't really matter. It's just going to evaporate out. So, you know, the amount of water is not important. If you put too little of water, then it won't be able to be poured out. So that's how you know if it's too little water. But this is fairly easy. I put it into this plastic container. You want to get a flexible plastic container if you can. It makes it easier to remove once it dries. So once you do that, you just stick the branch inside of that wet cement in the center, and then you prop it up on anything that you can. In my case, I used the bars on my window. So I propped it up so it can stay upright and centered, and then I tied it with some zip tie or whatever that was up against the window so that the dog does not knock it over. So I have another project going on. That's why you see that branch standing up. But you have to let that cement dry for a couple days with that amount of cement. And after you do that, you take it out the plastic. And this is the most important step here. Let that cement soak in water and vinegar. A quarter cup of vinegar to a gallon of water to kind of leach out all that alkaline from the cement so that you do not mess up your plant. So you all seen me do similar projects like this before with my Hoya tree, my Anthurium tree. But on this project, I want to use one of my Philodendron. Now, I was inspired by Laura Eubanks. Shout out to the channel, Laura Eubanks. I've been watching her for just about a couple years, and I'm a student. I'm a student. I really learned a lot because her and her team, they just body their designs every single time. Now, she specializes in succulents and cactus, but I do take some of those techniques and I use that with some of my tropical plants and aroids if I'm going to do a project. And one of the things when she does an assortment, which is difficult to do because she's not just doing it for herself. It's a landscaping job for other clients. They may not like certain colors. They may not like certain patterns. So I know that's difficult, but she goes by this one principle. She says, you need a thriller, a filler, and a spiller. So with this project that I'm doing, I have my thriller, I have my filler, and the Anthurium pallidiflorum is gonna be my spiller. So let's get to it. So I just came back from a little breakfast day. As soon as I got home, this package was waiting on me. It seems like every time I film a video, I get plant mail. This one is from the Etsy shop called The Green Escape. I might as well just open it up with you all here. Every time I film a video, I get plant mail, and that's kind of fun. But I don't know what I ordered, so that'll be fun just to unbox it here. Let's do it. I spoke about this Etsy shop, The Green Escape, before. They specialize in little seedling plugs. And I assume that's what this is, but I don't know what I ordered. Here's the first one. Another. I don't think nothing else is in here. So here they are. This is the Monstera Esqueleto. It's the PHILODENDRONs. Not much to see. I'll get these all set up and put these out in the greenhouse. You can actually see on the PHILODENDRONs, the new leaf is coming out like a red color. I don't know if you can see that. So that's cool. So here's the stick right here that we have. Before I left out to go to breakfast, I sprayed this down with Krylon. We got the young Krylon. This is like a clear acrylic paint just to protect it. I mean, this is going in a pot. So all of that moisture, I don't want it to soak into the branch and cause it to rot early. So I sprayed it down with like multiple layers close to the base. And just for good measure, I sprayed the whole stick. This stuff actually dries in 10 minutes. So I sprayed multiple coats and I let it dry for a couple hours. I got this at Home Depot. I have a couple of these sitting in my garage. So first order of operation, we need to work with this pallidiflorum. This is an import that I've been acclimating. It's currently in Path Cow Mix. I mentioned to y'all in my last video that I wanted to sell this Path Cow Mix that I made. Some difficulties happened. So what happened is this bag has some weight to it. And I wanted to sell this for $20, but to ship something with this weight, it costs in between $15 to $17. So me selling this on my Etsy shop for $20 when it costs $15 to $17 to ship wasn't gonna make sense for me. So I decided not to do that. And I'm gonna just be using this on my own until I figure out another way to get this stuff on my Etsy shop. So yeah, we're gonna take this out of this cup. We're gonna put it into a bigger container. So when it comes to this container, I burned in a hole. I use like a knife and I heat this up on the stove and I just, burn it into the plastic. This knife is dedicated to that purpose. I don't use this for anything else other than that. So as I'm looking at this Philodendron, this leaf right here is definitely a vibe killer. I don't want, it came in the mail like this. Yeah, we gotta get this off. So we're gonna do away with that and then we'll pot it up like this. So I got this started. This mix here, it has Pathcal, chunky vermiculite, leca, and a little bit of zeolite. So I love this mix. I really wanted to be able to offer it on my shop, but I'll figure out a way. So let's get this all set in here. So even though I just got this plant, it acclimated well. It's growing new roots from the top. And it actually has 2 shoots. So close to the bottom, another shoot is coming off that's growing like a whole separate plant. So that's pretty cool. When it fills up this pot and I repot it, I'll separate that second shoot. And then maybe we'll have 2 plants on this setup. So I want to get it deep, a little bit deeper down into the pot and, we good. So this may lean over like this on the display. So I don't want to fill it up too much or else, something might spill. So I think we good. This will look really nice once more leaves start to, grow in. You can see the mix. Mind you, this is drainless. I'll fill it up and leave a reservoir about there. And then once it dries out, I'll just spray water in there sporadically. And that's how I've been doing with these type of pots here. All right, so this here is the pot that we're gonna be working with. Has 1 little drainage hole. This is real wood. So these planks, they do have cracks in them. So it's not completely sealed. That's a good thing, and that's what I wanted. And this is the look that I wanted for the situation. So this branch is standing up on its own, but I want to use some gravel to help, really level it out, Mind you, I put a little wire mesh to block the drainage hole. And I feel like, the gravel along the bottom will help out with drainage as well. So let's see, that's fairly centered, so I'm cool with that. When it comes to the soil mix, we're gonna use some of the cheap stuff. This is a Kellogg brand from Home Depot. I use maybe about 60% of the soil. What is it? 30% perlite and 10% of the gravel that I just used just to help with weight. I want this to be well draining, but I kind of want it to have some weight to it. So I'm gonna just mix that up and that'll be the soil mix. I don't measure. I know some people ask what is the measurements of the soil mix that you make, but it's different every time because when you make soil mix, you have to make it according to the situation at hand. You can't just do the same mix every single time, And then based off of the look, I'm looking at this and I already don't like the consistency, so I'm gonna add just a little bit more perlite. So one thing that I will say is I do not need to add any bark or cocoa chunk in a mix like this. When you use bark or cocoa chunk in a big pot, it's a waste of money, because you put that in there and all of the bark that's below the surface of the soil will quickly turn into mush, because it's in a bigger pot, so it's prolonged moisture, and that cocoa chunk and bark will just crumble and turn into mush or mud, you know? So I don't want to waste my money using my bark or cocoa chunk. I'll save that for, like, you know, the smaller pots, you know, 4 to 6 inches or something like that. But in something big, I'm not wasting my money using bark or cocoa chunk. So I want to use a thin little wire that I can't see. I don't want like a big strip messing up the look of this branch here. So I'll connect this. The soil is not all the way filled in, but I'll connect the plant first, the first plant. Next plant we're working with is the lemon lime maranta. All right, now this plant has been doing well down here in my living room. I don't do anything special. I take it into the bathroom and water it every so often. And you know, down here in my living room, it does not get good humidity, and this plant still does well. I use tap water, it still does well. So we rocking with this one. If it starts to decline, I'll swap it out. But what I really had in mind was fern, but I already know how that's gonna end. So I'd rather take my chances with this one because it has the color and the look that I want as a filler. So I actually squeezed this U-hook in with my hands. I didn't really need a drill. I just kind of squeezed it in at an angle, and I'll just hook this anthurium on it. Boom, we're good. So this is how it looks indoors. As you can see, I put it on like this little wheel coaster so I could roll it around the house and, you know, put it wherever I want until I find a permanent, you know, spot for it. But I do like the way it came out. And I think that, you know, when it grows in as this Philodendron splendid climbs the pole, it'll look even better. Also, as this Anthurium polyflorum fills out, it'll look even better. Because I want this to cascade down and cover up this pot, you know? So I'm already knowing that this splendid will get to the top of this stick in no time. Therefore, I will grow it in a spiral pattern to buy me a little bit of time, because I'm actually tired of taking a top cut from this plant, because whatever I put it on, it grows to the top of it so quick. But yeah, that's that. So I am hot and I gotta clean all of this up here. So that's all I got for you on this video. Hopefully you like the outcome of the project that I did. Hopefully you like Rainforest Flora. That's a cool shop. They also be having some rare plants every once in a while. So if you're in the area, look them up, go shop there, go check it out. It's a whole vibe. But yeah, that's all I got for you. I am out. See you on the next video.